last day of September, the 30th, in this forgettable year of 2020. Hopefully, the last of September we have to deal with this. However, news not looking good on any front. The first one that hit me real hard was this article, which is obviously playing in all televisions. Outrage as UP rape victim dies in Delhi. You know, on a foreign policy front, it's amazing how we portray ourselves as a peaceful nation. I think we really need to do a soul searching, because we are anything but peaceful internally. I wish this aggravation that we continue to show internally would somehow be reflected in our approach towards our enemies like Pakistan and especially China. But this is really sad. As we go on to the next one, where I thought the curtains are down, folks. Rock and roll time. India trashes 1959 LAC claim. Wow. Then you have hardening stance. China rejects Ladakh. UT raises 1959 claim line. Then you have 1959 claim is wrong, but it punctures China's theory. So here our guys are trying to say punctures the theory that they entered Galwan, so they're not living up to 1959. All hogwash and trash. Point is, they have always thought about the 1959 line as their line of actual control. Never told us. Another one. China says it doesn't recognize UT of Ladakh. India rejects Beijing stand. China on Tuesday said that it does not recognize the Union territory of Ladakh, clearing the pitch over the LAC stand. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the skullduggery of China. And let's see what everybody else has to say. Oh, wow. India shoots down China's 1959 line. It says Andrani Bagchi. Gautam Bambawale, former envoy to China, said the problem here is that the LAC cannot be defined unilaterally. It was unacceptable to us in 1959. It is unacceptable to us in 2000. So what? I want to ask the NEA and all these guys who have been ambassadors to China, what the hell have they been doing so far? They are the ones who've been feeding our government about what we should be doing, what should not be doing. And here's another one. Former envoys slam Beijing for invoking old LAC perception. One of them is Shiv Shankar Menon, who was responsible for the peace and tranquility along the LAC in 1993. Agreement. The other is Ashok Kanta, who served as India's ambassador to China during 2014-16 and is currently director of the Institute of Chinese Studies. The point is, they all know it's the vagueness of the Chinese definition that left open, and they all know why it was the case. I am not sure why they are now, trying blue murder. I'm absolutely crazy. China is obviously going to protest as Quad gears up for another foreign ministers meet. Take it forward. This has to get a defense angle to it, defense production angle to it, and we have to make sure our navies work in tandem. And then it says, India slams Pak on Gilgit-Baltistan polls. What good that is going to do, I just don't know. We should just go and get Gilgit and Baltistan. But what is another shameful item, I think? Amnesty says India Operation Chand. This is shameful. In the global view, I'm not sure why we do this. Are we so weak internally? Are we so unsure of ourselves that we don't, we create so much fuss for organizations like Amnesty? Europe has to be a key player for us. And things like this are more critical for Europe than trade, for defense pacts. That's why China has not been able to, build a closer relationship. And that's the human rights issues in China are now causing that division between Europe and China. We don't need to go that way. Here we have India among worst performing economies, stimulus inadequate. Oh, well. And here we have Nirmala Sitharaman have an open mind on stimulus. She has such an open mind. What comes in from here goes out from there. Nothing sticks, folks. Then we have another one that I got out of the UK Times. Takes stand against Chinese bullying. Universities urge in the United Kingdom. The universities have sold their soul to China. And that's really, really weaknesses on universities, whether they are in Australia, the United Kingdom, and in Canada. Needs to correct itself. Here we have a report in the Financial Times. Beijing tries to tighten control on business. That's the end of it, folks. There is really never been a real private sector in China. Oh, the gobbledygook sold to us by the American press has now finally come home to roost. Right above that, the other place that's really having a problem is Nagorno-Karabakh. Dozen killed in Caucasus clashes. Fighting between Armenia and Azerbaijan may risk drawing bigger powers. Turkey fingering, Russia coming in. Erdogan sends mercenaries to tinderbox conflict and this guy needs to actually be put to place, man. He is going to destroy the Caucasus, the Middle East, the Levant. He's all over the place. Then fighting between Armenia and Azerbaijan may drawing big powers. Then you have the other place that's in fire is Putin's support for Belarus alarms West. Kind of sad. India news: Lufthansa cancels all India flights from September 30th to October 20th, citing rejection of schedule of authority. We got to sort our aviation issues out, right? The other is very critical. Hours before debate with Trump, Biden releases tax returns. Well, let me just say this. If anybody saw the debate, I did. Trashy, plunged the depths of debating. However, who came out the winner? In my view, it was Biden. Why? Because Trump did not make any impact on the people he was trying to swing to him. Secondly, what this particular debate created, Joe Biden came out swinging and forever put to rest the notion of Sleepy Joe. More after the break.
An apple a day keeps the doctor away. We have often heard this since our childhood. Our grandmas and grandpas have always taught us to adopt natural ways of nourishing our bodies. There was a time when people did not even know about the packaged pills and bottled syrups. All they had was homemade natural remedies and Nani Maa ke mashhoor nuskhe. Sada Jeevan brings back to you the times we did not rely on artificial medicines to keep our bodies going. We believe in natural herbs and homemade remedies because the body deserves only purity. Think of natural products. Think of Sada Jeevan.
Welcome back, folks. Recapping yesterday's Vici, the inner circle or the inner string of pearls, as everybody claims that China has created around us. Let's recap. Check this out. Let's recap. Let's start with the least covered, which is clueless with this Pakistan. It says, I had quoted this article which says clueless in West Asia. You must remember at independence, Pakistan portrayed itself to be essentially part of the Arab world, was close to Saudi Arabia, and this is what Khalil Ahmed writes: after nearly 70 years of building a case in favor of conflict, the Middle East may be moving towards peace. On September 13th, Bahrain recognized Israel in the presence of US President Donald Trump in Washington. The recognition of a country almost an appendage to Saudi Arabia, physically and politically, signals a tacit pledge of recognizing by the Saudis. The Arabs feel now more threatened by Iran than Israel. However, what has happened is Pakistan is lost. He says, and he goes on to say, the other regional power present in the region through its good relations with the Arabs and Israel is India. Close to the US under Trump, it's economically better integrated with the Gulf states than Pakistan through its superior expat manpower. Pakistan has lost that tether. At the same time, as I quoted you earlier, Pakistan's army's role in politics angers public. What made the news most was Nawaz Sharif's broadside against Prime Minister Imran Khan and his government, of course, but more against those who installed Imran Khan and who manipulated elections to bring an incapable man like him into power, thus destroyed the country. Here, what is important to understand is, it says the September speech may well mark Nawaz Sharif's fourth foray into Pakistan. Important for us to know. Then there was this issue of what is in it for Pakistan, I had read. All that's in it for Pakistan is Pakistan wants to ride the coattails of China to global glory. Like it wanted to do with the United States, now it's trying to do with China. And why it's not going to happen is because, it's like chalk and cheese. Theocracy and mercantilism. China raised thousands of mosques, report says. It's not going to work, folks. Now, a quick recap. Nepal. What do we worry about Nepal? Is Greater Nepal. Nepal has an issue, and what are the strengths we have? What are the threats? The Gurkhas falling away from us, Greater Nepal. What are the strengths India has? People, Nepali Congress, Gorkhas, geography which allows us to supply all their requirements much cheaper than China ever will. The Madhesis, culture is the critical part. Now let's go to Maldives. What is the threat? Debt to the Chinese, opposition by Yemen, supported by China, which is supported by China, and Lanka's presence. What are the strengths? Democracy and current government, historical linkage, defense pact with the USA, further, but what we need to do, further improve trade, further improve financial linkages, even allow Maldivian companies to list on the New York Stock Exchange. What is more important is religio-cultural linkage. We've got to also project India's version of Islam into Maldives. Then the medical system. We have to recreate and provide cashless Mediclaim like we did in the past. Now let's go to Lanka. What is the weakness? Overbearing Rajpaksa, reliance on China, corruption of the regime, nationalist agenda. What is our strength? Again people, again democracy, the Tamil population, never throw them under the bus, and economic dependency, because both the ports that are critical for Sri Lanka actually are almost totally dependent on cross trade with India. Now let's go to Bangladesh. What's the weakness? It's essentially domestic political fallout of Tista and name calling of Bangladeshi migrants. Slow progress of projects. What are our strengths? Relationship with the current PM, historical connect of 1971 victory and the founder of the nation, increasing economic dependency, and democracy is a double-edged sword as far as Bangladesh is concerned. Myanmar, what is our weakness? The Rohingya issue, China's influence and China's influence. Strength, Buddhist connection, historical connection, Aung San Suu Kyi's fact that she studied in India, and improved relationship, and India as a counter to China and India as a bridge to the rest of the Western world. Bhutan, strong relationship, economic and cultural weakness, constant infiltration by China and Nepali and immigrants from Nepal. Pakistan, weakness. Weakness is just Kashmir issue and internal minorities in India. What we have over them is the Baloch problem, the Gilgit-Baltistan, democracy, helping Nawaz Sharif, Indus-Water Treaty, the end of the Northwest frontier. Then we have, and the declining influence with the Taliban. And while we say all this, to me, the most risky person who continues to be part of China's act is Nepal. It says Nepal erects third India border post in freedom. In short, folks, the string of pearls, as far as China is concerned, is extremely weak. And as I go further tomorrow, I'll show you how weak it really is. Jai Hind.